Welcome to the concept of adaptive immunity. Let me introduce you to some of the most important lymphocyte soldiers. The B cell, B memory, T helper memory, T killer, and T killer memory cells. So what exactly is adaptive immunity? The body's built-in defense system can recognize this foreign antigen, the common cold or virus, and rearrange and expand its army in the most enemy-adaptive way to combat that specific virus. If you were to get sick with the same cold for the second time, it's likely you wouldn't even notice because the body is ready and waiting for that specific antigen. But the body can't develop an immune system memory against all viruses, and that's why colds are so common and so recurring. The role of memory cells is to lie dormant in wait for that specific antigen following the first invasion, should the virus reoccur. If you've already been sick with a specific virus, there's thousands of memory cells ready to proliferate and differentiate into active soldiers, such as plasma cells, which are essentially activated B cells that enlarge and release protein complexes called antibodies, activated T killer cells, which basically attach themselves to and destroy any of our body's own cells that may have become infected, and T helper cells that work as messengers to get all soldiers on deck. Here's where it gets a little bit complicated, so you might want to rewind to this point a couple of times. If the virus that has entered our body has found its way into our extracellular fluids, but not into one of our body's own cells as such, an antigen processing cell such as the B cell soldier will hopefully ingest and digest this antigen, break it down into fragments, and present one of those fragments outside its own cell membrane, kind of like a "hey, look what I found" flag. Now, this cell could have responded to the antigen straight off the cuff, but this flag presenting process amplifies the results. It also calls in all of the other soldiers. If the presenting MHC class II cell identity marker on the membrane of this B cell can bind long enough to the CD4 antigen receptor of a passing T helper cell, then the response of a proliferation and activation of B cells, T killer cells, and memory cells takes place, and the formation of the army of resistance to that specific antigen can begin. Alternatively, if one of our own body cells is infected with the virus, the CD8 antigen receptors on our T killer cells rely on our infected cell being able to present the antigen on a major histocompatibility class I membrane cell identity marker, which would be more like a "help, I've been invaded" flag. In hindsight, it's actually rather fortunate that some of our immune system soldiers are adaptive. Otherwise, we'd never be able to develop an immunity to a specific virus. In saying that, once the virus has mutated, we may have to start this process over. Thanks for watching.